Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. So in today's rock painting tutorial, we're going to be painting the first of a series that I'm starting. And it is the series of the types of moons throughout 2024. So the first one is the wolf moon. So I painted my rock completely black and let it dry. And then I put on with my compass a circle and then a slightly bigger circle around that one. So my intentions were to put the moon in the middle, and then the outer ring would be sort of like a glow of the moon. And as you watch me progress through this video and through the painting, you'll see that that's not what happened. But that's okay. You just go with it and just let things happen. So what I'm doing right now is I'm building the moon. So the moon, when you look at it, it's got all sorts of different dark spaces and light spaces, and it all depends on where the sun is shining on it, and where the reflection of the earth is shining on the moon. So with this being a full moon, that means that the earth is not in the way and that the sun can shine straight onto the moon, and that's what makes it bright and full. So I'm just using three different types of blue paint and white. Sorry, I think it's just two blues. So I'm using Crisp Blue by DecoArt and Navy Blue by Delta. And then I'm just mixing in some white from DecoArt, just to give it different variations of the blue from light to dark. And I just keep sort of smushing it on. I'm not blending it completely. I'm just blending it slightly so that I can continue to have these differences of light and dark. And I do this, I sort of, in my mind's eye, split it in half kind of. So the dark side is on one side and then the light's on the other. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just adding more lightness on this side than I did on the other side, because that's going to be the lighter side. And I'm still going to have to add some dark shades into it, just because of the different craters, and the surface isn't a smooth surface on the moon. So you've got to put in all these little lights and dark areas. And that's what I do. And I just keep going until I'm finally happy with it. I did do this quite a bit, actually. And you can do it as much or as little as you want. You don't even have to use blues. I chose blue because it's winter time. So the moon is usually blue in the winter. Oh, sorry, I have my notifications on. I will shut those off. Sorry about that. I don't know if you were able to hear that, but anyways, I digress. So, yes, the winter moon, or in the winter, I find that the moon has a blue hue to it, at least here in Northern Ontario, and so I wanted to capture that. And then I kept it going on, like I said, with doing the lights and the darks. Now I'm just using one of my fine lining pencils. That's not a pencil, that's a paintbrush. So I'm using a fine lining paintbrush, and I am doing a pure white ring around the entire moon, because like I said, my original thought was that I would make the outer ring as a glow, and it didn't turn out that way. But I still wanted to have this white line around it. And I actually do a few little swipes through there. So it's almost dry brushing, because the brush isn't very big. It doesn't hold a lot of paint. So I can do dry brushing on it fairly quickly. But the paint does run out fast as well. But so I do the light on one side, and then I do a darker color on the dark side. You'll see that in a few moments. Actually, you'll see it right now. That's what I'm doing. So it's just the same as doing the inside of the moon. We're doing the outside of the moon to have the bright side and then the shadow side. And it also just cleans up the circular shape of the moon and just gives it that little extra bit of depth. So it almost looks like it's 3D and it's coming off the rock. So I get a little bit carried away with the dark side here. So I'm just using my fine lining brush, and then it got a little bit too saturated, so I bring out this wide angled brush, and all it did was spread it around and cover up all of my really awesome details that I had just put on there. So again, I just went with it and fixed it up a little bit later. So I also found that adding a little bit of water to my paintbrush thinned it out a bit more, so I was able um, to dull it down a bit. Here I decided to try to make it equal, and I put some white on, but again it was too much, and yeah, so this was all just a trial and error. But this will be my first of 12 moons that I'm going to be doing. So this is the January moon, and like I said in the beginning, it was the wolf moon, and it is for January 26th. Is that today? Yes, today is January the 26th. So that is for today's moon. So if you didn't know, we have a full moon tonight. So I am going back in over top of those dark areas and the lighter areas, and I'm putting back in my craters and things like that to overpower, I guess, the swipes that I did, and I made it look a little bit better and a little bit more like it originally looked like, and it turned out quite amazing. I really like it. So I also used some Enchanted Shimmer White made by DecoArt, and I put some of it on some of the lighter spots in the moon. Actually, I think that's what I'm doing right now. And then I do it on the outside ring as well. I did this because the moon sometimes, to me anyways, has this nice little shine to it. And so I wanted to capture that. So that's why I used that. Didn't use a lot of it, just a little bit. And now what I'm doing is the outer ring that is a mixture between the light blue, which is called crisp blue, and then a lot of white to give this sort of really pastel-y kind of blue color, and it wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. So I end up making the ring a lot smaller by painting over it with black, and you'll see that in a few seconds as well. Yeah, it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. So I'm just cleaning up the edges here with some white paint, just giving that glow part back again. And I should have stopped where I was, but I went all the way around. But that's what I did, and it still turned out okay. And like I said, this is my first moon of 12. So by the time I get to the 12th moon, I should be pretty much an expert on how to paint moons. But yeah, so here I'm now just trying to sponge out a little bit of that white so it's not so sharp. And I picked up these little sponge things from Michael's, and I thought I would give them a try. They come in a pack of 5, and they're on like doweling sticks or like wooden sticks with a little sponge on the end. And so I thought I would give it a try. I love how they worked. However, cleanup was really tough because it's a wooden stick. It just soaks up the water like really bad. So I've got to figure out a different way on how to clean them, but fairly inexpensive, and I really like the effect that it gave it. So now we're into the details of putting a wolf howling at the moon, because it is a wolf moon. So this is just a silhouette. I drew it on first with my General's charcoal pencil, the white one, and then just followed along with my paintbrush. Again, it's a fine lining brush. I make these myself, and if you're interested, in the description below there is a link to my video that shows you how to make your own. So if you're interested in that, I invite you to go there. And I also have tips on or videos on how to make your own rocks with molds from the Happy Dotting Company. And I also have tutorials on how to resin using art resin. So if you wanted to check those out, those are there in the description below. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Um, if you really like what you're seeing, make sure you give me that thumbs up. That lets me know that you like this and you're looking forward to the next 11. I will be posting them once a month. Um, but yeah, just make sure you give me the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And leave me a comment below if you like this idea, if you maybe have any insights to say about it, if you know more information about the moon cycles and you want to share, I invite you to do that. I love reading the comments, and it's just so amazing to see them all and to be able to respond. So I invite you to do that. Now, as I'm doing well, when I was doing the editing on this, I should have left the wolf as just the outline. I filled it all in, but maybe I will do another one with just the outline of the wolf because I loved how the fur just sort of like looked like it was flowing and I had the moon shining through him. I shouldn't have colored it in, but you know what? Hindsight is 2020. So I filled it in and that's the way it is. But I think I will do another one. I don't know if I'll film it, but I will do another one with just the outline of the wolf. Let me know actually in the description below. No, not in the description. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to film it, and I will do that. And I will post it here on my channel on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I wasn't. I think I really liked it just as an outline. So let me know, and if I get enough people wanting to see me paint it, I will film it before and get it up on YouTube. So just let me know. But it still turned out really cool. I really like it. Now I'm just sponging in some more of that light blue color mixed in with a little bit of the Enchanted shimmer because I really wanted it to glow, and especially when you resin it, it really pops. So you'll see that at the end as well. I take still photos and I put them at the end for your viewing to see what the finished product looks like. But yeah, it's just the shimmer. I just love this shimmer, and it's called white shimmer, and I just love it. So stay tuned to the end so you can see the finished product. But yeah, again, using this little dauber thing, really, really cool. I just got to figure out a different way to clean it because it just soaked up the paint. Um, Anyways, so yeah, so I just finished up doing a little bit of daubing there, or uh, putting on some of that really pretty shimmer effect on the moon, just here, there, and everywhere. Being careful not to get it onto the wolf. But now I'm going to clean up the ring around it. And like I said, I originally wanted to make it look like it was a glowing ring around the moon. But once I do this part, and I'm so tedious and so careful and making sure that it's straight, I actually paint over it. So um, you can just watch me here paint this circle and oops, made a mistake. But I paint this circle, and you can kind of see the ridge where I stopped with the sponge dauber, and that allowed me to have sort of like a guideline without redrawing anything onto the rock. And I just follow it around with my fine lining brush and clean it up to that point. But like I said, I didn't like it. The ring just looked too big, so I made it even smaller. And I think that it turned out really well after I made it smaller, and you'll see that in just a moment. I didn't put any bling bling or anything like that on this guy because I just wanted it to really focus on the moon and the wolf, but bling bling might have been a nice added touch. So maybe that's something else I'll do with the other one that I'm going to attempt to do, like the silhouette that's hollow, I guess is the best way to describe it. But here you can see now I'm putting on more black paint to really hide that, not hide it, to make that ring a little bit smaller and it looks a lot better. So I have lots of stuff that's planned. We've got Valentine's Day coming up. So I have a couple of tutorials for that. I've got a couple of really fun and easy tutorials that are coming up as well. And let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you want to see me paint. Maybe you want to learn about a technique or different type of paint or something like that. Just let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to research it and post a video about it. So let me know in the comments. Make sure you give me the thumbs up if you like this video. Share it if you wish. And I hope you enjoyed it. So remember, folks, life is what you make it. So get creative.